So it was two things. A lot of my friends I grew up with, they're actually currently incarcerated. And when you know somebody personally, you know they're not bad people.
Yeah.
Some people make mistakes.
Right.
It kind of hurt me, honestly. It hurt me bad, just knowing that that person was a part of my life when I was going through something. So to see me out here now and then, that happened, it's heartbreaking.
Some of these guys are really good guys that made one mistake. These people still have skills, they still have talent, they still have a lot of knowledge, and they're still creatives. And we don't want to forget about our creatives.
After staying quiet for years, Lil Baby has finally spoken on Chad Dillon's death, and now he's hinting that 4PF, the crew he built from nothing, may have been involved in taking Chad out back before the headlines and the whispers about revenge. This whole story started with something simple: business. Lil Baby wanted to stack cash outside the rap game, do something clean, legit, that gave back to his city. That's when he linked up with Chad Dillon, but Chad wasn't from the trenches like Baby. Dude was a Brooklyn-born businessman and a straight hustler in his own lane. Dude sold Bentley in college, turned it into a car rental hustle. That one whip made him so much bread, he expanded, owned 7 cars by graduation, and decided Atlanta was the next step. Once he hit ATL, Chad's grind took off. He opened the Boiler Seafood, a seafood restaurant that went crazy. First year, over 8 million in sales. Rappers, ballers, celebs, everyone was pulling up. Offset, Allen Iverson, Ja Rule, it became the spot. But Chad wasn't just making money, he was giving back. Dude started mentoring ex-cons, teaching business classes inside prison, showing them how to hustle legal. He even dropped over 15 grand to help ex-offenders create their own businesses and spent 13 weeks teaching them social and business skills to ensure their success.
So it was two things. A lot of my friends I grew up with, they're actually currently incarcerated. And when you know somebody personally, you know they're not bad people.
Yeah.
Some people make mistakes.
Right.
It could have been easily one of us that made a mistake that ended us in, with a felony. So,
Right.
Some of them, so it could be anybody, honestly. That's how I look at it. And I just want to give them a second chance because, like you said, these guys aren't bad guys. You know your brother is a bad guy. And somebody has to look out. Somebody has to help. Somebody has to give these people an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because some of them, they're very creative. They're very good people. They're very talented people. And it's like, if you close every door, they have no choice but to go back to probably what got them in prison to begin with. Some of these guys are really good guys that made one mistake. These people still have skills. They still have talent. They still have a lot of knowledge. And they're still creatives. And we don't want to forget about our creatives.
And that's where Lil Baby comes in. By 2023, Baby wanted to invest in something real. He and Chad clicked instantly. Rapper and businessman Chad already had the Boiler Seafood booming. So Baby told him he wanted a restaurant in his old neighborhood, somewhere that felt like home. They cooked up a plan, and Chad even helped name it the Seafood Menu. It wasn't no high-end spot like Chad's restaurant. Nah, they priced plates low. Crab trays that used to go for $35 were dropped to $12. They wanted regular folks to pull up, eat good, and not feel like they needed a deal. The grand opening was big. Streets packed, cameras out, Baby smiling ear to ear. Atlanta had something special.
Lil Baby opens up a seafood restaurant in the middle of his old neighborhood.
City. And why that is important, because beginning of this restaurant this day, the owners thought it was very important to start right here on the streets and the neighborhood in which he grew up in, to come back to provide economic opportunity and jobs to the people, his friends, his neighbors.
But in true ATL fashion, things flipped quick. A few months in, a viral video dropped of a woman clowning the seafood menu's food, calling it trash, saying it looked nothing like the promo pics. That clip spread fast. Within weeks, business crashed. The seafood menu quietly shut its doors. The website stayed up, but it listed as permanently closed. Folks said that moment marked the start of something bad between Chad and Baby. Then fast forward to July 23rd, 2024, Chad gets killed. Police responded to gunshots around John Wesley Dobbs Avenue and Boulevard, right in the old 4th Ward. Broad daylight, they found Chad Dillon slumped inside his Rolls Royce, bleeding out. Tried to save his, but he didn't make it. Cops said it looked like a targeted hit, not a robbery, not a stray bullet. And that was the moment everyone knew this wasn't random. Word spread fast. Chad had been in that neighborhood to look at a property for his new Jamaican restaurant called Dipped in Butter. He didn't hang around there, didn't do business there. So how did someone know exactly where he he'd be and when. Folks started connecting dots that didn't sit right. Somebody close must have tipped off his location. That same night, Lil Baby posted a photo of them together on Instagram. "Damn big buddy, get your rest." Short caption, but you could feel the pain behind it. Still, the streets didn't buy silence. They started talking, whispering, pointing. See, Chad wasn't a street dude. He moved smart, stayed out of trouble. But Baby, different story. Since his pops walked out when he was 2, he grew up fast. Dropped out in 9th grade, jumped head first into the streets. By the time he was 20, he'd been locked multiple times. Charges, possession, intent to sell. In 2024, he even caught another case in Vegas for carrying a concealed firearm, got out on bond, but the message was clear. No matter how high Baby climbed, the streets followed. So when Chad got lined up, folks called it what it looked like, death by association. They said Chad might have been too close to a man, neck deep in the street, because Baby's name wasn't just big in rap, it was tied to something bigger. 4PF, 4 pockets full. What started as a rap label turned into something the feds been side-eyeing heavy. Atlanta PD been saying they're watching all these labels that double as street thugs. They already hit YSL with RICO. Now, 4PF was next in line. Word is, since last year, Lil Baby been quietly trying to detach himself from that. He even launched his own label, Glass Window Entertainment, to distance his name and brand from 4PF's heat, but folks inside said it was too late. Cops already built files, connected dots between shootings and crew beefs. Remember that violent shootout before Chad's death between 4PF and their rivals OMF, which took out 2 13-year-old boys and injured an 11-year-old cops, said it all started over a Lil Baby music video shoot on the 2100 block of Verbena Street, OMF territory. Baby's team shot a video there like they owned the block, and OMF took it as straight disrespect. They slid, shots rang out, leaving 3 people injured in the shooting, and Lil Baby was nearly struck. A few days later, one of OMF's members, Trevonna Turner, got gunned down in retaliation. 7 dudes tied to OMF and 4PF were arrested. Cops said it was part of a growing gang war triggered by the video shoot.
They said the attack was in retaliation for the rapper entering a rival gang's territory to film a music video.
In the subsequent days, we saw homicides and shootings, and ultimately the deaths of 2 children as a result of his cowardly actions, and you know who you are.
Baby's name came up heavy in the paperwork, even though he wasn't the one squeezing triggers. They called him the Atlanta-based rapper behind the Spark Baby, went on Instagram saying it was fake news, that he had nothing to do with that street drama. He wrote, "Thanks for all the concern. Please don't be misinformed by fake news. I am overly good." But the feds didn't drop it. They said they'd been prepping a case for months, and soon after, rumors broke that they had an arrest warrant with Baby's name floating on it. That's when Baby made a business move, dropped 4PF completely, made Glass Window Entertainment official, and started publicly calling it a clean slate. He said he wanted to focus on real business, legal hustle, not hood politics. But it didn't sit right with everyone. Street Talk says 4PF members felt betrayed. They said Baby switched sides, cleaned his name, and left the rest to drown. And when Chad got dropped less than a month later, that theory turned cold into believable. Folks started whispering that maybe it wasn't random at all, maybe 4PF was sending a message. And trust the online community been loud. One user wrote, "Smooth professional hit, broad daylight in a real busy section of the city, no witnesses, no suspects." Another said, "Death by association, shaking my damn head." So now the streets buzzing and Lil Baby pointing fingers at the same crew he once called family. But if 4PF really had a hand in Chad's death, what comes next? Does Baby spin back or keep playing it cool under Glass Window Entertainment? And if the cops already building a case, who's really safe when the truth drops? Drop your thoughts in the comments and click on this next video. It's just as crazy.